Steve Shillingford, President and CEO of Solera Networks. So Solera is in the business of cybersecurity, fundamentally providing the equivalent of a camera on the network. So in today's world, where there are compromises almost daily on commercial and enterprise, large telcos, large government entities, one of the challenges that folks have is determining how somebody sort of got into the network, what they did while they were in the network, and I think most importantly, are they still there? And Solera provides a technology that allows you to record everything that happens over almost an infinite amount of time, depending on how much money you want to apply to the problem. So that just like when a bank is robbed or when someone breaks through a secure facility, you can roll back the tape and watch the attack as it took place. You can track what was actually taken out of the network and ultimately reduce your exposure so that if a database with 1 million records was compromised, you can identify the 10 that actually left the network versus having to report to the 1 million record mark and suffer the sort of financial consequences of that. Well, you know, over the years, the federal governments, both here and abroad, have been sort of at the forefront of battling cyber crime and improving their cybersecurity infrastructure. What we've seen over the last couple of years, though, is an increasingly directed attack on commercial entities. I think several years ago, Google was one of the first very large, very publicly known companies to sort of stand up and say, hey, we were hacked. We think it was the Chinese, and they actually took some intellectual property from folks. And what you didn't hear in that public statement was there were 50 other Fortune 100 companies that also suffered attacks. Companies like Dow Chemical, companies like Lockheed, companies like Citigroup. So what's changed is attacks have moved from nation state sort of, hey, what are your plans for the next gen fighter, to directed financial attacks where people are looking for social security numbers, personally identifiable information so that they can profit. Commercial companies are just starting to figure that out, and it's a broad set of companies. So financial services, obviously, but one of the most high-profile attacks of recent memory has been the Sony PlayStation attack. I'm a huge Madden Online fan, and I was very upset when I couldn't get online because they had to shut down the entire network because they were siphoning off 100 million records. I think every company of size that has a network in place benefits from our technology. Well, we're widely deployed inside many of the federal government entities that you might expect us to be. Certainly inside the intelligence and Department of Defense environments and several other civilian sectors of the federal government. We are deployed at companies like Rackspace, Overstock.com, Facebook, Hitachi, companies that have very large networks, very disparate environments that need sort of elevated levels of protection. What we think is small companies are best positioned to sort of respond to the creativity that we see on the other side and sort of deliver products to customers that solve their problems immediately versus what I might call tongue-in-cheek, sort of the slow, monolithic, larger companies that have big stacks of products that they want you to buy but have 24-month development cycles. So we feel like we are the best positioned in the market that is moving the fastest to sort of respond to that rate of change. And so far, so good.